Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday. It's another episode that we have of Group Travel Odysseys, Convos with Colleagues. Today, we're going to be talking with the lovely Heather Egan from Grapevine, Texas. And just to tell you a little bit about Heather, Heather has been in the tour and travel industry for over 20 years. During that time, she has worked for DMOs in Wichita, Kansas, Mobile, Alabama, Grapevine, Texas, where she proudly calls her home now. Throughout the years, she has covered almost every department within a CVB, including convention sales and services, communications and marketing, event planning, a sports commission, and even accounting. That's rare, sales and accounting. I don't know how that works, but we're going to talk to her about it. The role Heather is best known for, though, is for her leisure sales role, where she has spent the majority of her career working with tour operators and travel partners all over the world. As a director of leisure sales for the Grapevine CVB, Heather's played a key role in hosting ABA Marketplace in Grapevine in 2007 and in 2012. And she'll be hosting it again in 2022. She's been very instrumental in placing Grapevine on the map for tour groups across the country, as well as promoting Texas as a whole to the group tour market. So without further ado, from the Grapevine Convention and Visitors World Headquarters, we welcome Heather Egan.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Heather. Welcome.
Thank you. It's fun to be here. I'm excited today.
Well, we're happy to have you with us, and we're looking forward to learning a little bit more about what makes Grapevine, Texas so special, and also what's new and hot and what's happening now, and then also kind of peeling back a little bit of the layers of what makes Heather tick and why she thrives so much and is so passionate about the hospitality industry and, of course, Grapevine. So with that being said, can you tell us a little bit about how you got to Grapevine?
Oh, goodness. Well, let's see. How did I get to Grapevine? Oops.
She's always busy, folks.
Yeah. And the funny thing is my phone's on silent and it's still ringing. I'm not really sure how that works there.
It's a special Tuesday.
It is. So, yeah, Grapevine. My hometown is Wichita, Kansas. So born and raised there, cheered at Wichita State University. So I'm a Wichita State Shocker, and ended up working for the Wichita Convention and Visitors Bureau. And the funny part is, so my whole background there is, believe it or not, in college, I was actually an accounting intern or an accounting major for the first few years. Until I got to about my third year, and then I got into all the legal part of accounting, and I was like, yeah, I don't really enjoy this anymore. But I love numbers. I love spreadsheets. I'm a weird person like that, which helps me be organized, luckily, when I'm doing things like planning the ABA. So anyway, my assistant cheerleading coach in college was the vice president of the Wichita Convention and Visitors Bureau. And over the years, I just realized that he knew everybody. Every event we did, everywhere we were at, people knew him. And but the Convention and Visitors Bureau, I had no idea what that was. And I remember if I needed to reach him, I'd always call the city of Wichita, and they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, David is actually at the Convention and Visitors Bureau." I'm like, "Okay, what is that? Can you just give me his number or transfer me or something?" So at one point, as an accounting major, I was looking for some accounting experience because I did work my way through college. And so I thought, well, I'll be graduating in a year. I need to get some bookkeeping experience. And so I asked him if he knew anybody who was looking. And he said, actually, we need an accounting intern. So I went to work for the Wichita Convention and Visitors Bureau as their accounting assistant and did that for a year. And then I got called into the CEO's office, and he said their tourism salesperson was leaving. And he said, I think you would be great for this tourism sales position. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, she went to Disney World this year. So, I did her accounting. So, I saw the receipts. I know what she did, but learned there's so much more to it than just, of course, the travel side of it. But from there, my first marriage, married a Southern boy from Tennessee. And he was in sports marketing. So his job moved us around a little bit. So we went from Wichita to Mobile, Alabama, and we're in Mobile for a couple of years. And then we ended up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so that is where, luckily, I was able to stay within the CVB industry and came here and kind of a funny story. I worked originally when I got here, the Louisville CVB, which is a small town just north of Grapevine.
Okay.
They were a one-person CVB, had an advisory team, and I also reported to the city. And the city was always telling me, we want to have a downtown just like Grapevines. And we want to have events just like Grapevine. And we want to do this just like Grapevine. And about 8 months later, I went to him and I said, I am resigning because I'm going to Grapevine. So, you know, I have loved it. Grapevine is just a wonderful community. We're all about tourism. I mean, it's everybody here gets it. The restaurants, the attractions, the hotels. Tourism is our number one industry here, and so it shows in everything we do. And so it's definitely been a perfect fit for me. And even I took a little. Those people who may know me, I moved to Grapevine in 2004, but in 2016, I went back home to Wichita for a while. My now husband and I, we went back home. That's where our families are. We went home to spend time with family. And even my dad said, this isn't your home anymore. Grapevine's your home. So 3 years later, we came back to Grapevine, and I plan on staying. So
Wow, and that's a big statement, I would think, coming from your father, that this isn't
yes.
your home anymore.
My parents love it down here too. So Wichita's still home. I'm still a Kansas girl at heart. I still root for all my Kansas sports teams, as everybody knows.
That's important.
I'm never converting there. Yeah, you will never see me cheering for the Cowboys. It will never ever happen. But I do love this town. I mean, the people really make this a special place. And you really become part of a big family here in Grapevine.
Well, and as you say, family, I think that you had mentioned that when we were chatting the other day too, about how you feel like a lot of your passion and what drives you is that the tourism business and your partners in the industry, not only in your city, in Grapevine, but also all the tour operators and your fellow colleagues also are really part of this larger family that you are very fond of. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anybody in this industry knows the tour and travel side. I mean, it becomes one big family. And what I love is when I'm working with tour operators, or any of us who are working with tour operators or the travel trade, it's not just, okay, here's the information and then moving on. I mean, I'm here with you to help you until the end. Because I know for a tour operator based in, say, Pennsylvania, they don't know everything that we have here. So they're relying on me to help make their tour a success and to make sure that the clients that they're sending here have a great time. And it's always so much fun to be able to greet those people and tell them the history about Grapevine and make sure they have a wonderful time and then get that feedback afterwards. And just to get that trust from tour operators, that they know they can count on me to make sure that everything's going to run smoothly and that their group's going to have a good time. So, and then it's just nice when you get to see everybody. It's, at the trade shows like ABA and NTA and all those shows, just getting to see everyone, just such a nice family reunion, because a lot of us have been in the industry a long time. So,
well, and as we think about that too, right, there's a number of us that have known each other, and there's a lot of people that are still coming into it. So it's great that they get to learn a little bit about, once again, you as a person and learning more about the destination you represent. But you mentioned a key word. You mentioned the word trust. And what I also thought was interesting when we were speaking is that you talked about your partners in your city, in Grapevine, and how literally they're always open to whatever you need to put together for your tour operators. And that openness, I really think, sets you guys maybe apart from others. Not that other cities aren't open, that their partners aren't open, but just that you all are a little bit different. If you could kind of explain that, that would be great.
Yeah, it's that's another thing that I just love about Grapevine is we're very close knit here. So it's not if you're wanting to see an attraction, it's not that, okay, the attraction is open from 9 to 5 and this is what they do, or certain restaurants. It's really, I love that I can reach out to pretty much any of my attractions. I can reach out to my restaurants, the hotels. And we can create things for you. We can make things special. So we have a historic farm here, Nash Farm, and they do complimentary tours. But I could also set up, you could do a 19th century style reception. We could do a farm to table meal function out there. You could do a barn dance. I mean, there's so many different things that we could do. And just as I think I was telling you the other day, just this week, I had a tour group that was in town. Actually, tonight, I have a tour group in town. And it's a Tuesday night. It's the Christmas capital of Texas. It's a big time for us. But Tuesday nights, we don't normally have live entertainment. Earlier in the week, kids are still in school right now. So they are coming down and they're just here this evening, but wanted some sort of an entertainment element. So we actually arranged, we're putting them in our grand hall here at the Grapevine CVB headquarters. And we're catering a meal for them, and we arranged for their own entertainment because we have all sorts of entertainment here in Grapevine. And we just put together a package price for them, and they're getting their own private dinner and a show. So that is something that we can pull together. Or last week, I had a tour group was just looking for something unique to do. So I reached out to one of my restaurant partners, and she did a charcuterie making class. So not something she normally would do, but she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do a charcuterie making class, pair it with wine, and just something unique. So I love that pretty much all of my attractions and anybody, it's almost kind of hard to sell because it's hard to explain to people. I'm like, well, here's the attractions, here's everything I have. But I can go so much further beyond that. I mean, it's, let us know what you want to do and we'll find a way to do it. So
like I said,
it's a lot of fun to work with them.
Heather makes it happen. Heather and Grapevine make it happen. Ultimately. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting out of all of that. And it does seem that maybe the way your destination is set up, right? That everyone's only 10 minutes really from everything. So yes. I would think that works in the town's favor, but also for everyone that's coming to visit there, whether they're individuals or groups, there's so much in such a short distance.
Yes. Yeah. Grapevine's very easy to get around. We are at DFW Airport, actually sits in Grapevine city limits. So all of our hotels are within 10 minutes. Historic downtown is just 5 minutes away. Everything in Grapevine, you can get from one side to the other, basically all of our attractions, basically within 10 minutes of each other. Excuse me. And then even to extend your stay, I mean, we're right in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. So downtown Dallas is 25 minutes to the east and downtown Fort Worth is 25 minutes to the south. Arlington is just maybe 20 minutes south of us. So lots of stuff to take in right here in the area. So.
Well, definitely not a shortness of activities to do. And speaking of, I know you had mentioned just a few minutes ago about Grapevine being the Christmas capital of Texas. So how did that come to be? Maybe other people know, but I do not.
No, that's okay. So, goodness, actually, years ago, when Gaylord Texan came to Grapevine 2004, and of course we had our holiday decorations, everything we did downtown. And kind of a funny story because every year, Gaylord has ice and they have their stuff. And each year, they'd be bringing up, okay, where are we at? How's Christmas? I'm like, yeah, it's not enough yet. It's not enough yet. Of course, from a girl who used to hang out in Kansas City, the plaza and everything. So that's beautiful. Right. We hit a point where every year we basically doubled our Christmas decorations and we added more Christmas entertainment. And got to the point where actually somebody at the state Senate in, I believe it was 2008, they declared Grapevine the Christmas capital of Texas. And we just took it and ran with it. And today we now have 1,400 events, holiday events in 40 days during the holidays. So
I'm sorry, you said 1,400?
1,400. So we have there's so much stuff that goes on. You have, as I mentioned, the Gaylord Texan has their great activities that they do. Great Wolf Lodge has Snowland, Bass Pro Shops, Grapevine Mills. They have their own activities they do. And then you get to historic downtown Grapevine and we have synchronized light displays. We have a Christmas drone show that took place last Saturday. It'll be this Saturday again. We have live Christmas entertainment, musical entertainment, Christmas comedians. I mean, you name it, different things there. We show Christmas movies, like classic movies, like White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life. And then, of course, we do some for the kids as well. So some of the fun classics, like a Charlie Brown Christmas. And it's just all sorts of all of the shops are all decked out for the holidays. It truly looks like a Hallmark Christmas special down here. I mean, you walk up and down Main Street and everything is all decked out. Christmas music is playing. So you hear Christmas music everywhere you go. And the exciting thing is we are, for ABA, which we're hosting the first, January 8th through the 11th, we are going to leave all of our Christmas decorations up in the historic downtown area for all the attendees to enjoy when they come down so that they can get a taste of the Christmas capital of Texas.
Is this the first that's been announced?
No. Well, I know we have been. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I
how
wanted
much
it to
has
be
been announced, but it's something we have definitely been planning, and I've been putting out there, trying to let people know.
Well, that sounds really extra special. You guys are really rolling out the red carpet. As it's your third time, I would expect nothing less anyway. But wow. So much, we've just talked about it being the Christmas capital of Texas. But we also know that your destination is a year-round destination, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. We've got a great mix. During the week, we're a great corporate and convention destination. On the weekends, we do great with leisure business. So it's kind of nice. We do festival and events. We're actually an international festival and events city because we have so many festival and events that take place year round. We do 4 wine trails a year. We have a craft brew fest in May. We have Grape Fest, which is the largest wine festival every September. Lots of different activities and events on the train. Matter of fact, as part of Christmas, we have the North Pole Express that we do on the train daily. And we also do Christmas wine trains. So lots of different activities that we do year round. We have a monarch or butterfly flutterby that celebrates the monarch butterfly coming through when it's migrating to Mexico. Lots of different events.
Well, and as the world's been changing over the last 18 months or so, right? Every city, every destination, every attraction, every restaurant, everybody's been going through different changes to bring everyone back. Mm-hmm. And we were talking the other day, and you shared something with me about how your city got so prepared to bring people back right away. Could you share a little bit about that? Because I just think it's so impactful, and it says once again so much about how Grapevine values visitors.
Well, immediately, we did our research right away, and we found the Global Risk Advisory Council, so also known as GBAC, and they have a STAR accreditation program. And so we actually took our own marketing dollars, our own budget, and we paid for our hotels and our attractions to get GBAC certified. So that way, when visitors came to Grapevine, they could know that they are staying in hotels and they're visiting attractions that are at the top of the line, when it comes to cleanliness and safety, that they have already been certified and accredited as following all of those regulations. So we did that right away. And then we also, I think our marketing, the way we marketed Grapevine, we whole skipped the when you're ready thing. We just told everybody we're open. And if you're ready to get out, come back to Grapevine. We luckily, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have, 6 million people, probably more than that now to pull from here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we really focused a lot of our marketing more regional here, and we targeted directly to those people who wanted to get out of the house. And we're ready to get out and do things now. And historic downtown Grapevine was really perfect for those visitors because it has that feeling of being outside. Yes, there's shops and restaurants, and a lot of our restaurants have outdoor dining, so they were able to do that. But they just felt like, just walking up and down Main Street made them feel like they weren't stuck inside. So,
well, and the fact that your city, Grapevine, took money out of the budget to bring the community together, that says an awful lot about a destination. And I think another reason why you're so proud of being there with that team. I also would like to ask you too about some of the different other historical landmarks that you have. I know that you had mentioned about a big hall that an ABA that we're all going to get to see and be a part of. Could you tell us a little bit more about what that's all about and some of the history there?
Yeah. So there's actually some changes since everybody was here in 2012, or at least those who were here in 2012. You definitely have to get out to historic downtown Grapevine because a lot has changed down here. We still have the brick and the original buildings and some great restaurants and wineries and shops down here to explore. But one of the new attractions that just opened about a year ago, almost a year ago. So actually a year ago now, a little over a year ago, Hotel Vin opened, which is a hotel. It's a Marriott Ambassador or Marriott Autograph Collection. And it is downtown Grapevine. It's actually right next to our TexRail tracks. TexRail runs to DFW Airport. So the train goes right there. And then Hotel Vin is connected to Grapevine Main Station, which is modeled after a 19th century grand train station. So sort of like Grand Central Station in New York City, a beautiful looking train station. And inside there is what we call Harvest Hall. And Harvest Hall has a collection of what we call kitchens. So European style kitchens. So you can choose, there's 7 different kitchens, and you can choose what cuisine you want. And then you go and you order, they take your cell phone number and they text you when you're ready. And it's just a big food hall basically. So, but in this beautiful scenery, there is also Third Rail inside there, which is an entertainment venue. So they have live music, live entertainment, Wednesday through Sundays, basically. We have entertainment going on, or Wednesdays through Saturday. And then there's also an observation tower there. So, and that is something I do special for groups. So when I have a group tour coming to Grapevine, and when they are staying in a Grapevine hotel and I know about it, we will do a complimentary guided tour for you, and we will include the observation tower. And the observation tower is 150 feet up. And from up there, you can see the downtown, the skylines of Dallas and Fort Worth on either side of us, DFW Airport, beautiful Lake Grapevine, basically all of Grapevine. So really amazing views from up there.
Oh my gosh. So anybody that's tuning in or watching us later on a replay, this is a great deal right here. And you get Heather with you, it sounds like, as well. So we did put also her email address up on the screen so everyone can reach her at hegan@grapevinetexasusa.com. So you're not off the hook yet, but we did want to make sure people know about that because that sounds something that's really extra special, right? And when you talk about it, everything that you've been talking about in Grapevine, like you're just beaming. You're just so you're so happy, and that's what people want, right? They want to feel that passion. And it does seem like everything you do, Heather, even in some of the notes where you listed, like you work out all the time because, of course, you like to visit the hall there with all the culinary experiences, and you love to dance, and there's lots of live music in the area. It's really exciting, and I think it's generating you've been building right on bringing ABA Marketplace back, but even this alone, and just seeing you and just seeing your joy about your destination really is intriguing and is inviting. So,
well, I forgot to mention, so tying that into ABA, so Monday night is Dine Around, but after the Dine Around, there is the Foundation Afterglow, and it's taking place at Harvest Hall. So we're going to have a great DJ. He's the DJ who plays every Wednesday night there. He's incredible. He has the fun music videos, kind of some 70s, 80s, 90s, all sorts of good music. And that's where our Afterglow event will be at the Harvest Hall. So you'll have to come out and explore it.
So any attendees that are participating in that particular event will have the opportunity to see the hall. Yes. Well, that's great to know. Thank you for sharing that with us. I did want to ask you too, we've talked about how you've always been a DMO, but you started in accounting, which I think was great because you were an intern, correct?
Yes.
Right. So anyone that's new to the business, right? Heather did it the right way. She had an internship and then she met Dan and then that was it. And she's been hooked ever since. But let's take a step back. What were some of the other hospitality jobs? Because if I recall correctly, you've always been in hospitality, but you've done some other things too.
Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, you go way back and I've been a waitress. I've done lifeguarding. I taught gymnastics. I'm not sure that's actually a little bit, but so taught gymnastics.
It'll work.
Taught swim lessons. So I've got all of that. And then just a few years back when I took a little hiatus and I went back to Wichita, Kansas, I actually worked for a hotel. So I was a director of sales at one of the hotels there. Got some of that experience. And then I also worked for Group Tour Media and did the media side. So I turned around and worked with CVBs for some of their marketing needs and helping out on that side. So I got a little bit of experience in all those different areas.
Right. So, in hearing all of that, though, it does, everything that you've done is kind of woven all together to bring you to where you are as well. I just think that's great for other people to know, you don't have to start off, being the director. We all start somewhere. And clearly you push through with your passion and everything that you've wanted to do. I also find it interesting that we talked about that you enjoy puzzles. And it seems like with everything that you've had to do, I shouldn't say had to do, you've wanted to do to bring ABA to your city, as well as any other tour groups, any other convention groups to town, right? It's always putting a puzzle together. Has that been something that you've enjoyed since you were very young or something new?
What was that part again? I'm sorry, you broke up.
The puzzles that you've always been into. Like,
yes. Yeah, I've always liked puzzles. So, as a kid, I did the old-fashioned puzzles and any of those kind of games. Actually, I've always just loved games, to be honest. My husband makes fun of me because as a kid, he's learned that I could play Monopoly by myself. I would sit there and play myself at these games. But yeah, I've always enjoyed puzzles. And as I mentioned the other day, even now when I go home at the end of the day, I like to just pull out my laptop and I've got different kind of games on there that are sort of like the puzzle games. And that's kind of how I veg out for a little bit, and I'll play those for a little bit and while I'm watching TV or listening to music. And
well, it's pretty incredible to me that you played Monopoly by yourself, which to me, I can't speak for everyone, that is just another sign of your extraordinary creativity. So I'm not sure if you hear that, but I was saying that you're very creative. I know we've had some delays, so I just wanted to. But and you use your imagination to make all those different things happen when you're playing Monopoly by yourself, which that makes me think of. Also, you had, correct me if I'm wrong, you had mentioned about, is it Imagine the Flying Unicorn? Okay.
Yes.
Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. If anybody who comes to Grapevine or for ABA, you need to look on top of our building. So as we call it, this is the Grapevine CVB World Headquarters. So my office, beautiful building on Main Street. Matter of fact, funny thing is we actually moved into this building 1 week after ABA in 2012. So they let me get through ABA and then they said, all right, move. So we moved in then. This building, it looks like a bunch of different buildings, has all these different facades that talk about the history of Grapevine. The main entrance is like a grand entrance to a 19th century hotel. And there's a big tower. The tower usually has our glockenspiel. Right now it's under construction. We're hoping to get a part in to get them fixed. But it has our would-be train robbers, Nat and Willie. They're animatronic and they come out every 2 hours. They argue over who's going to rob the train and how they're going to divide the money. So just some of the fun things we have right here in Grapevine. But on one end of our building, there is a kind of a dome roof. And on top of it is a winged unicorn. And we call that unicorn Imagine. And the reason for that unicorn is a winged unicorn is a fictional character or a symbol of dreams. And we like to say that in Grapevine, we make dreams come true. So that winged unicorn or Imagine is actually the symbol of our tourism industry here in Grapevine. So it's a tribute to all of our volunteers that help make our festivals possible. It's a tribute to everybody who works in this office. Basically everything that we do is kind of, we try to think of that winged unicorn and that we're making visitors' dreams come true. I'm taken back by everything that you've shared with us today, because there is much more to Grapevine than I personally have had the opportunity to experience. And I think with what you've shared with us, and like you said out there, many of the folks that are probably watching, they are familiar with you, they are familiar with Grapevine,
but it does always sound like that there's so many different activities, whether they're indoor or outdoor activities taking place. And even just alone, when you guys are celebrating being the Christmas capital of Texas, 1,400 different activities in 40 days. So to me,
we're a little busy this time of year.
a little busy. And that doesn't even, take into consideration everything else that you all are doing with all of the festivals that you're offering out there. So it really is something, a destination that it sounds like to me, no matter what you're into, whether it's a group interest or a family interest, that you guys have it because you all make dreams come true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm hearing. Is there anything else that you'd really like to share about the destination? Or even maybe your fondest memory of being there in Grapevine, or any of your travel stories that really have tugged at your heart and makes you believe every day in hospitality and tourism?
Oh my goodness. I honestly, I have so many great memories. Hosting the last ABA and being able to take everyone to Cowboys Stadium. And I love it now when I'm at other conferences and I might be sitting on the bus and I hear people like a couple seats behind me going, were you there that year when we went to Cowboys Stadium? That was so cool. And I'm like, I did that, so that's kind of cool. One year I used to handle sister cities here as well. So you can add that to the list of things I did. And one year I hosted a group of, I think it was 26 people. It was an orchestra. And I hosted them in Grapevine and over the 4th of July. And I was able to set up performances for them in Dallas and Fort Worth and Grapevine. And it was just really neat. They were all younger. I got them all home hosted. And so it was very, afterwards, it just made you feel really good that I was able to create all these experiences for these people. And then I think what just makes me feel the best is just walking up and down Main Street here in Grapevine and, being able to see the visitors and watch them, seeing them take pictures and hearing them talk about different things and, how excited they are, or just the relationships and the friendships that we've built, whether it's here in Grapevine. Knowing it makes me feel good when our partners here reach out to me because they know that I can help them or they count on me, or when I'm at a trade show or traveling anywhere, and I have friends almost everywhere now. So,
right. So it sounds like to me, even outside of Grapevine,
all of those things just make it great.
And it sounds like to me, even outside of Grapevine, with the friends that you have all over in different destinations, that you're willing to help anyone however you can, is my takeaway from that. So I just like to think that, you're such an ambassador for your city, and we're so gracious that you were able to spend some time here with us today. If there was one thing that you wanted to maybe share with a newbie in the industry, because we know so many people, from your 20 years, do know you. But for those that are new coming into the industry, is there a little bit of advice that you'd like to share with them?
Yeah, definitely. Get out and get to know your partners. And get to know people at the trade shows. So whether you're just at the office or it's Monday through Friday working in the office, don't make time outside of the office too. Unfortunately, I know some people who will go in and they work in the office all day and then they go home. Get to know your community. Get out and get to know all of your partners. Have lunch with them. Take part in your own attractions. Get out there and actually experience it, and make sure your face is known in your own community, because you should be the face of your destination. So that's make sure you're known in your destination. And then beyond that, when you go to shows like ABA, of course, coming up in Grapevine, do more than just the appointments. Go to the networking events, hang out in the bar afterwards and get to know people, because you never know where those relationships are going to lead. And it's not just the tour operators. We love the tour operators, and I love getting, the relationships I built, and that's a lot of great business. But I've got some great partnerships with other destinations and surrounding states that have come from traveling together. Now we create itineraries together and we cross promote each other. So you just never know where those relationships are going to lead in the future. So you can never have too many.
Right. You can never have too many connections is what I think we were going for, because I know we're getting a little bit of a delay. But
Yeah.
in bringing that up, and thank you for
we
sharing.
Doing so good.
We were doing so good, right? But I appreciate you bringing all of that up, because it does go back to working with others, the relationship, whether they're in your backyard or across the pond, whatever that looks like, just to keep bringing people together, getting people on the road, making new memories. And it also reminds me of, through Group Travel Odyssey, anyone that becomes a part of our community and our system, we do have our DMOs, such as Heather and Grapevine, part of the system, as well as all their members. So it's a very robust database, and that's where you can really help build your itineraries and get people out to Grapevine and other destinations even faster. So with that being said, I just want to thank you again, Heather. You've been a gracious guest. Thank you for putting up with some of our technical glitches. And we look forward to seeing you at ABA. And we ask anyone who would like to join us in the future, please feel free to subscribe to us on our GTO site, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and look for Heather and Grapevine, because she's going to be taking care of so many of us at ABA Marketplace 2022. But even beyond that, you know that she is there for you in Grapevine. She is the ambassador for that city, and she is making people's dreams come true. So thank you so very much, Heather. And we wish you and we wish everyone that's been watching today or in the future a great afternoon. Take care, and we'll see you in a few Tuesdays from now.
Yeah, just a few weeks. Bye.
Bye.